Coach, what can you tell us about MTSU?
Well, they're really good. They'll be probably the second best team we've played to Baylor. So they're tremendous. They're a veteran squad. They're well coached. They, the way they play, they change their defenses quite a bit. They play 1-3-1 zone, 2-3 zone, man. So they change them up. It's hard to get in an offensive rhythm against them because they're changing things up. They've got great players. They got Upshaw back, who was their leading scorer last year. They got Giddy Potts back, who's a big-time three-point shooter. Then they added the kid Williams, Corey Williams, transfer from Arkansas, probably be Conference USA Player of the Year. So, they've got Ed Simpson, a knockdown shooter at the two guard. So they're a veteran squad. Won an NCAA tournament game last year, and they're well coached. And that's why they're 9-1, and I think 6th in the country in the RPI right now. So they're be a stiff challenge. Like I said, be by far the second best team we've played to Baylor, and one of the top. This will be one of the top, 4 or 5 teams we play all season.
Are they 2-0 against SEC schools already?
Yeah, they beat Ole Miss, and they clocked them both. Wasn't like they just barely beat them. They boat raced Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. They won. They were up. I want to say they were up almost 30 at halftime on Ole Miss, 25 or 30, and they ended up winning by 15 or 20. And then they beat Vanderbilt by 23, 24, or something like that at home. So they're they've got big. They've got big bodies. They look like an SEC type team. They're big. They're big bodies. They look like a BCS level basketball team.
Coach, kind of piggybacking off your praise for them, I don't know how much you looked at last year, but the chatter is kind of that they're even better now than the team that knocked off.
Oh, they're much better than their team last year. No, they got a much better team this year than they had last year. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The kid Williams, the big kid he just adds a whole new dimension to him. And so they're much better.
So not only is that Michigan State upset last year, even though it was 15-2, right? Not only is that not really a fluke, they're even better this year.
Yeah, they certainly played. The one game they lost this year, the kid Williams was suspended for the first half, or I shouldn't say he was suspended. I don't know what happened. He didn't play in the first half, so there's obviously something going on. Like the only game they lost this year, they didn't play their best players the whole game. So there's no. They're good. They play at Belmont tomorrow night. That'll be another good game for them. But they've won road games. They won at South Alabama. They won at Ole Miss. Beating Vanderbilt at home. They won 3 games, and they're UNC Wilmington's only loss this year was to them. They're good squad, veteran squad, really good players, and a really good coach. It's a pretty good combination if you're looking to be a good basketball team.
So then, what are the keys to neutralize all that?
Well, we're gonna have to guard him. We're gonna have to do a good job on Potts and make sure he doesn't. Get going from 3. We did a nice job on him. We're going to have to rebound the ball. Anytime you play one of Coach Davis's teams, they're going to be physical. They're going to be tough. They're just going to try to maul you in the paint. They've got this JUCO big who's actually from Chattanooga that we looked at. We recruited him at Chattanooga, and he should be an SEC offensive lineman. His name's Brandon Walters. He went to Howard in Chattanooga, right around the corner from where I was at UTC, and. He's huge. He's huge, and you can't move him. That's what I'm talking about with their size. So we got to do a good job down low and do a good job being tough on the glass. And we got to guard them because our possessions are going to be limited on offense. It's not going to be a game in the 70s. It's going to be played. It's going to be a tractor pull. It's going to be a slow kind of, grind it out type game.
If I could just piggyback, I know I've had 2 in a row, but. Given that you just played ODU, is that a good tune-up for this team? Because I know that team.
They're different. They're different. ODU plays 95% man-to-man defense, so you can kind of get in rhythm and figure out what you're doing against them. But he changes his defenses like every possession. He's changing defenses and changing what he does. So It'll be, and I mean, quite frankly, like Middle has much better bodies than Old Dominion has. I mean, Stiff's a really good post player, but he's 6'7"-ish. Brandon Stiff, good post player. I mean, Middle's got 6'9", 6'10" versions of him down there, and then they've got the Williams kid who's 6'9", who can play at the 3, the 4, the 5. He can play wherever. I mean, so they've got bigger, better versions maybe than some of those guys that ODU has. Not to take away from ODU, they got good players. The Stiff brothers are good. Baker's good. Caver's good. But I mean, Middle's got grown men version of. I mean, Giddy Potts is jacked up and looks like a fullback, and can make threes at a high clip. So there's a big difference in the way they look physically, their makeup.
Coach, you've been pretty happy with the response since Georgia Tech from your guys. I mean, they come out and surge back against ODU, and now get ready for Middle and have a week there. But have you been pretty happy with the way they responded since?
Yeah, we've been fine. We've been fine. So you got to do your best work when the chips are down. I think we've done that, and so we got to continue to do that. I mean, this is a huge game for us Saturday. I mean, this is a big game for us Saturday. This would be something that would, help us as we move through the season here. So we need to make sure that we're ready to rock and roll on Saturday.
As happy as you are with a win over a rival like Old Dominion, I'm guessing you probably would rather not have to rely on three-point heroics down in the last 6 minutes of the game. Were there things that could have been taken care of earlier that you
we
want to
did.
work out?
Well, I mean, just the turnovers are just killing us. I mean, I talked to our guys yesterday about it. We got 149 assists and 148 turnovers on the year. And, we shoot, if we're just using round numbers here, let's just use round numbers for our purposes here today. We're shooting, let's say, almost 50% from the field. All right, it's 47.8, 48%. But for our purposes, you're making 1 out of every 2. Well, if we turn the ball over 12 times a game, which is our game goal, which is on about 18% of your possessions if you're in a 72-possession game, which is a normal college basketball game, we're turning it over 18 to 20 times a game. So we're giving away 6 to 8 possessions a game. And if you just do simple math, let's say we give away 6 possessions a game, we're going to score on 3 of those 6 possessions that we give away. And instead, we're making, against good teams and against teams, we're not good enough to overcome continuing to give the ball away that many times and giving the other team that many cracks at it, and also taking away, our opportunities to score. And so we've got to get that corrected. And a lot of it's spacing issues and we like to throw interior passes like when we drive, which I've never had a team that likes to throw interior passes. I don't understand why we like to do that and why we're so caught up in it. But we try to throw these interior passes that are just impossible. Like you penetrate and you pitch it out. You don't penetrate and try to flip it to a guy 4 feet from you. It's not going to happen. And we've got to do a much better job limiting those turnovers.
Obviously, the guys have finals this week, but has this kind of week break been beneficial practice-wise and rest-wise?
We had a good practice yesterday, and we'll practice again today. We're going to give them off tomorrow. We got a big exam day tomorrow, and then we'll go into our normal 2-day prep for Middle on Thursday, Friday as we get ready for Saturday. So yeah, we needed some. Mo's been a little banged up. Jaquan's been a little banged up. They're both fine now, Tim. They'll both play. But they've been a little banged up. So we need a little bit of time to.
They're better than him.
Yeah, they're feeling better than Tim right now. They're closer to 100%. They're closer to 100% than you are.
I know you guys got a good win.
That's a good one.
I know you guys had a good win out there last year. Is it helpful to you that they play the return trip this year when they might be a better team? You at least get them at home.
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough to win there. I think they'd won like 50 of 52 games at home when we beat them there. It was a good road win for us. Yeah, I mean, you got to play them where they're scheduled. So, we knew it was going to be a tough series when we scheduled it. It wasn't like, we knew what we were doing. So, I'd rather have, I guess, to answer your question, I'd rather have them here than have to go there this year. I mean, they just blitzed Vanderbilt at their place in front of 10,000 people. So, yeah, I would rather. There's 9,500 people in that place. Watch them, blast Vanderbilt. So, I'd rather play them at home than on the road, no doubt.
But to that point, for the guys that maybe didn't play there last year, or the guys that were there last year remember the game, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And if they don't, a
Oh,
result
they'll
like
be
Vanderbilt that gets their attention right away.
No, we can't worry about, the Vanderbilt. This is VCU versus MTSU, not Vanderbilt versus MTSU or Ole Miss versus MTSU or, some of that sort of stuff. But, our guys are well aware of how good they are, how physical they are, how well coached they are, how good of players they have. Our guys know. Our guys know.
Do you see any similarities having played there last year and given what you just described about Vanderbilt and how the place was rocking? When you were here, when Shaka was here and the program was building up and Final Four and all that, they don't have a Final Four, but is there sort of a feel of just this is a mid-major that's going to succeed and continue to be successful?
They've been successful for a while.
I guess I'm asking if there are any similarities to the program's past.
I think, there's certainly, how can I put this nicely? Coach Davis and I are good friends, so I know a little bit about their program. They've been, they have the profile to be very good. They have a huge school. They're going to be the biggest school in the state of Tennessee in the next 5 years. They're going to have more students than UT Knoxville. All right, and so they're the breadwinner of the Board of Regents schools. You guys don't know anything about Tennessee, but there's Board of Regents, and then there's the University of Tennessee system. So University of Tennessee Knoxville has UT Knoxville, UT Chattanooga, UT Martin, and then they have a medical campus in Memphis. All the rest of them are Board of Regents schools and are supervised by the Board of Regents. And so the Board of Regents, MTSU is the head of the Board of Regents schools. And so they get the most funding from the Board of Regents for their Tennessee State's Board of Regents, Austin Peay's Board of Regents, Tennessee Tech. All those guys are Board of Regents schools. And so they're the biggest of those, of that group. But they're going to outgrow UT Knoxville if they haven't. They may already have, but I know they're projected to outgrow. So they have a huge, campus population. They have a huge school. Murfreesboro is now becoming basically Metro Nashville. It's 40 minutes from Nashville, but it's now, people live in Rutherford County now. It's Metro Nashville at this point. It's like a suburb. So, I think they have a lot of the things in place. The issue is football. They're trying to, they're also trying to be good in football. And if you're at a school that has a little bit of, you have to allocate your resources a certain way. If you're at you got to decide really where you're going to put your money if you're going to play at the FBS level in football and try to be great in basketball. And so there's only so much to go around. But their women's basketball program is phenomenal. Women's basketball program has been, single-digit seeds in the NCAA tournament and had chances to win. They've got other sports that have been very, very successful there. And I think they've. Coach Davis has been there 15 years. They've stuck with him, and he's built it, and he's got his own niche. He takes some transfers. He's really good in the junior colleges. He makes sure his teams stay very old. His teams are always really, really old. And, I think he'll continue to, try to get to the NCAA tournament. And once he gets there, they're certainly going to have chances to win.
Go back to the turnover issue for a minute. Do you see that in practice?
We talk about it, yeah.
You see it in practice when you practice. Are you seeing the same things you see in the game?
We commit some different turnovers in practice maybe than we commit in a game. I think, I mean, we certainly turn the ball over. If you're, I mean, yeah, we turn the ball over too much in practice for my liking, and I think we turn the ball over too much in the game for my liking.
Is it sloppy play that you notice is leading to them, or is it more force from the other team?
Some
or
no, some.
combination?
Well, my thing is we're going to turn the ball over. I'm not asking for us to
Sure.
play
Yeah, you
perfectly.
can't
I
do
don't
that.
mind aggressive. I don't mind aggressive turnovers. Like, you know, we go in there and we drive it in there and we charge. That's a turnover. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. You know, it's the interior passes, the carries, which is just the trying to the one hand, you know, trying to hit the crease on the one instead of dragging it out on the ball screen. I mean, that's the stuff that just drives me just nuts. So that's the ones that we have to correct. We're going to commit turnovers. You know, like I said, 12 turnovers a game is very fair. It's a good number, and we've got to do better. We got to do better because you're going to get into possession games in conference play. You know, middle on Saturday will be a possession game, and you can't give good teams extra cracks and take away your own chances and beat or be successful against good teams.
Hey, guys. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.